Hi, my name's Mary, and I am working on my final project for Object-Oriented Ruby. The final project requirements were to reach out to a web page, scrape some information from that web page, reach out to a secondary web page, scrape some more information, and present it to the user through a command line interface. To do this, I had decided to work with this website, and I wanted to look and see whether or not I could scrape this information. And so what I did was I opened up the inspector, I looked at the information, and I finally found an area on this page that actually presents the information that was easiest to scrape. And here it is in an unordered list, a series of line items. Each line item represents a model of their refurbished computers. You get the description, CPU, number of cores, core model, and the color, as well as the current pricing. And with a little bit of string manipulation and cleanup, I figured that I could go ahead and reach out on this div with the class refurbished category, get the whole series of line items, iterate through the line items, grab the description, parse out the information from the description, and then grab the three areas of pricing and parse that out and present it to the user. But I wanted to make sure that I could do it on the secondary page as well. And the secondary page gave information, again, that we've already got. But when you look down here, it gives more useful information. So down here, I wanted to make sure that I could scrape this information. And it looks like just by using div class as product info section main panel, and then cycling through the paragraphs, parsing the information that I'm receiving, and determining whether it's a hard drive or RAM, or we're talking about a display or the original release date, I could extract the information and present it in a meaningful way. So I went over to my scraper class, which is the first class that I implemented, and in the scraper class, this is my second parsing. Let me get up to my first parsing. On my first, I chose to set up a hash and fill up the hash with the information after processing all of the information and figuring out what it represented. And then I'm going to ship it back in a hash array and reject the nil values. So this is going to represent one computer, all of the information on our original reach for one computer, and then the hash array is all of the computers in those LIs. And then in addition to that, we had a secondary reach, and the secondary reach was simply going to grab the detail string, look at it, figure out where it belongs, and then fill up one hash and ship that hash back. In addition to that, I had decided that scraper was going to be a singleton because it's the only thing this thing is responsible for is just reaching out to that website, and then it just goes away after that. There's no reason to keep an instance of an object there. And then speaking of objects, I created a parent class called Mac, and it has all of the attributes that a Mac normally carries. The initialize method, it's going to throw everything into an @all array so that we can access all of the computers that we've created. And then in addition to that, we're using self-send, and we're throwing an error if the key isn't found. And then for our secondary reach, we have the method of add adders by hash because we're going to have to add additional information to these attributes, and then a print method that's going to be able to expose all of this information to the user. And then I have some debugging methods as well. And then we have the desktop and laptop methods. Now, as I was writing this, I was finding that I was duplicating a ton of methods. So I yanked them out and threw them in a module and included the module in the children classes. And the modules basically all work with the all arrays and just cycle through the all arrays, getting matching number of cores and matching CPUs and things like that. And then finally, we're at Find My Mac, and with Find My Mac, what I'm doing there is I am setting up objects These are pretty generic: desktop, laptop, and other objects. But as long as during the initialization process I have to look at the type, I go ahead and sort them into arrays for each individual model. And I'm saving configurations for both laptop and desktop in a multi-dimensional array, indexed based on constants that represent what the contents of the array is. And then I go ahead and cycle through each one of the members of the hash and sort them, basically add them to the proper arrays, and I'm done. I also tried to follow the single responsibility principle and made sure that all of my methods have just one thing that they're doing, and they're not trying to do too much. And I think we're ready to go ahead and see how this runs. So let me go ahead and exit again so you can see how this gets set up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to require config environment.rb, and then we're going to create our first instance, find my Mac, finder.new. And again, it's reaching out to the URL that's coded in Scraper, and it's returning back a gigantic hash, and from that hash it's now going to sort through all of these computers, and it's going to store all of the computers in logical arrays so that it's easy to get back to. And then now we want to invoke find max, which is our entry method. Well, let's go ahead and choose laptop. Let's look at a MacBook Pro. Absolutely, I want to select a display size. Now, one of the things that you want to note here is these guys are all coming from the configs for laptops and configs for CPU configs for laptops and the like. So yes, I want to select a CPU, and I'm going to select the biggest one, select the number of cores, select a great core, awesome, and here is my selection values originally requested, and you can see they match up. Let's go ahead and get some more information on the cheapest one, because that's the kind of gal I am. And here's our configuration requested. It's reaching back out. It's scraping for more information. And you can tell on this scrape that we did come up with the information that we want. The hard drive, we've got the RAM now, we've got the GPU now, the camera, and the year released. And that, in a nutshell, is my program. I've also presented the link so that if you really wanted to see color information or even get even more information than that, you can go ahead and paste the link into your browser, and voila, there is your deal. So that is my program. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again soon on YouTube. Take care now.